What your headache is telling you and when it's worth a second look. It's late, the house is quiet, and there's a dull ache spreading behind your eyes, the kind that makes you wonder, is this just a headache or is something wrong? That question in the middle of the night can feel heavy. Most of us have been there, but here's the thing, most headaches aren't dangerous. And once you know what your headache is actually saying, that worry gets a lot smaller. So let's learn the language. No fear. Just the why. Start with the number that should take some weight off your chest. Around 9 in 10 headaches are what doctors call primary headaches, meaning the headache itself is the condition. There's no hidden tumor, no bleed, no underlying disease driving it. The headache is the whole story. That leaves about 1 in 10 that are secondary, caused by something else. And here's the key. The common headache is ordinary and fixable, and the dangerous one almost never travels alone. It brings company. Let's meet the most common headache of all, the tension-type headache. It feels like a tight band around your head or pressure spreading across your forehead, temples, or the back of your neck. Both sides usually dull and steady, not throbbing. It doesn't come with nausea, and light and sound don't bother you. This is your body asking for a break, not raising an alarm. It's often set off by stress, poor sleep, or hours hunched over a screen. Now it's more dramatic cousin, the migraine. Throbbing, pounding, often on one side of the head, moderate to severe. And it brings friends, nausea, sensitivity to light and sound. Some people see flashing lights or zigzag patterns beforehand. That's an aura. A migraine can last hours or even days, and it tends to run in families. It can be deeply disruptive, but it is still a primary headache, not a sign that something is broken inside. There's one more worth naming, cluster headache. It's rare, but it's one of the most severe pains known. The pain is excruciating, always on one side, often around or behind the eye. On that same side, you might get a red, teary eye, a stuffy or runny nose, or a drooping eyelid. People with cluster headaches can't sit still, they pace, they rock. It happens in clusters, daily attacks for weeks or months, then it vanishes for months or years. If this sounds like you, know that there are treatments built specifically for it, and seeing a neurologist is the next step. So if most headaches are this ordinary, what are they actually telling you? Often it's one of these: dehydration, your brain sits in fluid, and when that balance shifts, it complains. Skipped meals, too little sleep, or too much. Caffeine withdrawal or too much caffeine, eye strain, posture stress, alcohol, especially red wine. And in a hot climate like much of India's, plain dehydration is one of the most common and most missed triggers of all. When the trigger is one of these, you can usually answer it. Here's the twist almost no one sees coming. The very pills you take to stop a headache can start causing more headaches. It's called medication overuse headache or rebound headache. If you're taking painkillers regularly, meaning 2 or more days a week, your brain can adapt and the medication stops working the way it should. Instead, it creates a cycle: headache, pill, headache, pill. This is real, and it's surprisingly common, especially where painkillers are widely available over the counter. This includes prescribed medications too. Talk to your doctor before making any changes. The fix is a conversation with your doctor, not a cold turkey guess. Alright, we've spent most of this video on the headaches that are common and harmless. That's where most headaches live, but some headaches are messengers of something more serious. And those ones don't whisper, they shout. They come with company or a broken pattern or a sudden violent onset. The rule is simple: if your headache is different from anything you've had before, or if it comes with other symptoms, that's worth taking seriously. So here are the signals that mean stop and get help, not to scare you, but so you never have to wonder. The first is the one to take most seriously: the thunderclap headache. It hits like a bolt of lightning. You go from fine to the worst headache of your life in under a minute. It's sudden, explosive, and unmistakable. This kind of headache can signal bleeding around the brain, a subarachnoid hemorrhage. That is a call for emergency help right now moment. Do not wait. Do not take a pill. Get to a hospital or call for emergency help immediately. The next signals are about company. A headache with a fever and a stiff neck, especially if it hurts to bend your chin to your chest, that's a possible sign of meningitis and it needs urgent medical attention. Or a headache that arrives alongside stroke-like signs, weakness on one side of the face or body, trouble speaking, sudden confusion, or vision changes. These are not subtle. The right response is emergency help fast, every minute matters. Not every red flag is sudden though, some are about change. A headache that's new or clearly different for you, especially later in life after age 50. One that's getting progressively worse over days or weeks. One that wakes you from sleep or is worst first thing in the morning. One that's triggered by coughing, sneezing, or straining. A headache that starts after a head injury, or if you have a history of cancer or a weakened immune system. When the pattern clearly changes, let a professional take a look. It might be nothing, but it's worth checking. Now let's name the fear that's probably been sitting underneath this whole topic. Could it be a tumor? Here's the truth. Brain tumors are a rare cause of headache, and when they do cause headache, it's almost never headache alone. There's usually something else: progressive neurological symptoms, changes in personality, seizures, weakness, or vision changes. A headache by itself, even a bad one, it is almost never the first or only sign of a brain tumor. So if your headache is your only symptom, that's actually reassuring. It is not by itself telling you about a tumor. So what do you actually do with all of this? For everyday headaches, drink water, eat something, rest, check your caffeine and sleep, and give your neck a stretch. If the headache is frequent or interfering with your life, see a doctor, not because it's an emergency, but because there are treatments that can help. And if you have any of the red flags we just went through, or if you're simply worried and unsure, that's a good reason to get checked. That isn't panic, that's just good maintenance. So here's what your headache is usually telling you. Take a break, drink water, sleep, eat, relax. When it tells you something louder, you now know what to listen for. And you know the difference between a nudge and a shout. No fear, just the why. If you'd like to have the red flags and everyday triggers at your fingertips, something you can keep on your phone or fridge, just comment the word honest below and we'll send you our free one-page headache cheat sheet. No fear, just the why. If this brought you a little calm and a little clarity, subscribe and stay with us. We make health make sense. Worth knowing every single time. No fear, just the why. One last thing, and it matters. This video is general information, not medical advice, not a diagnosis, and not a substitute for seeing your own doctor. Your health is personal. If you're unsure about any headache, please reach out to a healthcare professional. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.